Welcome one and all to another amazing night here in Tranquility.
We absolutely are in for a treat of a match here tonight, no question about it.
And the grenade from Pompu eliminate everybody on the field.
Damage from something as well is going to be applied as a death block them, and it's going to be huge. Fighting 3.
The double kill with the Bastion ulti? Alright, I see you guys.
For B-Well, look to find a stick there, finds the stick, they find two with it!
Those who find the picks will save the fight, and they don't really need to save what they've already won.
And Cam with the 4-man punch off the map!
Experience tranquility.
Hello everybody and welcome to the grand finals for Tranquility's Discord tier. My name is Merp. I'm joined by Telmjcan, and we are excited to bring you a crazy match of Geometric versus Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very good matchup. They've already played once. They played in the winners finals, and it was a very close game. It was 2-1. Very good Overwatch by both teams. I'm very excited to watch this, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. First time being in Tranquility, first time being here, seeing all these teams play out with each other. I cannot wait to see, especially considering this is the grand finals of the Discord tier, are basically the Diamond Division as far as I understand it. And it's going to be a good time, right? Both of these teams have made it to the grand finals. Both these teams are facing off against each other in this best of 5 series. Is there anything that sort of stands out with you between these two teams?
Well, honestly, I think there's just a very high level of coordination from Geometric, so I'm very excited to see them play. Specifically, Churd, I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that right. They are a very, very good Winston player, so I'm very excited to see their Winston play. They also have a very good Sombra Tracer duo that's very coordinated, and that's something that's going to be hard to see in the Discord tier. It's just not going to be so consistent as these DPS can do it. But on the side of Galactic Gibbons, I'm just very excited to look at their pharmacy comp if they get to play it here. It was something that did very good for them in their first map of their game the first time they played, and I just hope that they can bring it out again and show us what they're all about.
Absolutely, and Overwatch as a game in and of itself is going to be a team-based sport, right? So the more coordination, the more you're able to sort of communicate and execute on plans, the better off you're going to be. So that is a very, very good point. And I'm sure on either side you're going to be able to find that sort of communion of strategies. You're going to be able to find the ideas executed to a pretty good standpoint. And I'm excited to see exactly how that's going to roll. Now, both of our teams are ready, so we should be ready here in just a minute. But before then, I want to say to you, we are going on Oasis. So considering that it is Oasis, exactly what are you expecting to see from these teams as we roll in here?
Well, on the inside portion, I think it's called University. I'm expecting just a pure brawl matchup, and the last time they did a pure brawl matchup, it was the Galactic Gibbons that came out on top. They ran this May Reaper style that actually worked very well, where they kind of TP the Reaper in and pinch her in, and they're able to get picks that way. I don't know if that's exactly what we're going to see tonight, but I mean, I think if they do that, they have a good chance of having some success. And on the more open parts of the map, I'm expecting a Pharmacy or maybe an on a Brig Echo Tracer, because that is something that they also ran, and that was probably their more favorable dive comp. I think their Pharmacy was more just something to keep the enemy on their toes, but other than that, from Geometric, I'm expecting a lot of Sombra Tracer on a Brig Winston, because that is something they ran in their first game. But at the same time, we also have a different DPS in than who we saw in that first game. So there's a lot that's up in the air right now for Geometric, but I'm very excited to see what they bring.
And we're going to be heading into Oasis now. Very good insight there for the side of Geometric. I'm excited to see if the dive will come through. It's a very prominent composition in Overwatch League, in comp. Looks like that is sort of what we're going to be getting from Galactic. Geometric deciding to go with a more brawly sort of style with that Zarya Reaper Junkrat. Now, of course, teams can always change their rosters in the spawn rooms, but that's just what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think they probably won't run this comp on this map, and if they do, I'm actually very excited to see how they do it. It's probably going to be by TPing in the Reaper and bubbling, but Galactic Gibbons, this is what I expect they're just going to run. So
Absolutely, both teams leaving the spawn room now and taking two different approaches. Geometric wanting to stick together as one group, that brawl style. You want to take everybody on at once. We're going to be seeing them sort of poke at each other now.
yeah, I think Geometric's going to want to TP in this Reaper and just play slow with the junk spam, because that's how you're going to get most of your damage in. And once Zarya's full charge, she's going to go in and she's going to beam.
Absolutely, the Suzu already forced out thanks to a nice anti-nade from the side of Galactic Gibbons, but CDY is able to take out Glimpse, and Sky is able to take out both supports down now for the side of Galactic Gibbons, as Geometric is going to be able to take a solid hold in this first fight and is going to get the first point captured, leading themselves into a lead here, but the game is early on and anything could happen.
Yeah, and as I said, and kind of what I predicted, was that they would play very aggressive with that Reaper, and that is what they did, and it saw a lot of success. One thing Geometric is very good at doing is splitting the enemy team and just kind of picking them apart. And that's something we saw in that fight, along with a good pick from the Junkrat.
Now we're 20% and counting for the point progress as Geometric, they're holding this high ground very well, waiting for Galactic Gibbons to dare to attack them. That Reaper is so dangerous with this Tracer composition. The Tracer wins the composition. There goes Sky's able to take out Splitsy. It is a very nice pick to open things up, and he's just in the backline, absolutely demolishing the Zarya bubble coming in to also support him, and Geometric hold firm, hold strong as we're about to reach 50%.
Yeah, and Sky's Reaper is very, very good. This is something that I was actually pretty excited to watch, because that's what worked well in their first game and the reason that they were able to get a map in the first round. But honestly, they didn't even need the bubble. They can just do it by themselves. So we'll see how their Zarya gets some charge here.
Now a swap, a little bit of a compositional swap here from the Galactic Gibbons. They swap over to the Reinhardt Life Weaver pool. You don't see it used very often, not a very high-picked character, but there it is, finding perfect use case, keeping the Reaper alive for the Blossom. The Sound Barrier comes in, but not in time to save Monarch, as it does get saved out with CDY. 80% now, though, and Gibbons, they have to push forward. They have to find victory in this next fight.
Yeah, and there's really no ults online except for the Kiriko ult, the Kiriko Rush. So I'm expecting them to play very fast with that and then probably use Lifeweaver's Tree of Life to just clean up the fight from there.
There's a Kitsune Rush from the side of Geometric. They have huge ult advantage here, considering the fact that they've been in control of the point this entire time. There goes the Tire as well. Will it be able to find anybody? Yes, it will. It will find one, and Geometric's able to clean up the rest of the side of Galactic Gibbons. That is going to be 100-0 on the first point.
Yeah, and it was just so hard for the Galactic Gibbons to get a good fight in. They were always just down one because Sky was able to get picks with the Reaper. So, I mean, we'll see how it looks on this next point, but if they keep playing like this, this could be very, very good for them.
Absolutely. Now, I have a question for you. Considering the fact that Galactic Gibbons didn't find a victory there, do you think it's wise to stay on this Reinhardt composition? It actually looks like they're going to be swapping over to the Winston. Actually, complete strategy swap here from both these teams as we go two different versions of this dive poke style.
Yeah, and again, this is the Pharah that I was actually another thing I was excited to see in this map. But Galactic Gibbons is going to kind of stay true to what they run with the Sombra Tracer, but they are going to go Kyrie Lucio, meaning they want to take tempo more.
Okay, so they're going to be playing a little bit more aggressive with that Lucio speed boost and the dive capabilities of him. But you've got to watch out for that Pharah in the sky. I mean, any impact, and she does so much damage, and there it goes. Emily goes down. The Kiriko no longer online for the side of Galactic Gibbons. That's half the healing right there. Sherd trying to find anything with the Suzu's there to keep up the enemy Kiriko. And it is currently a brawl on point one. The Galactic Gibbons is not winning out just yet. Tracer getting The enemy, Winston down solo, Churd goes down, Sky's able to pick him off. One after the other, Geometric once again finding victory in this fight as they're going to be using this very nice composition with the Aura combo to sort of take control of the high ground and continue control of the fight.
Yes, and again, without any real threat to the Pharah, it is going to be so tough to push in here. So if I'm Geometric, I'm looking to make a swap at some point, probably do an Echo or maybe a hit scan, just so that you can contend with the Pharah.
Soldier is pretty good right now. It might be interesting, but also you've got Cassidy and Widow. Widow's still a menace in the game. Despite the nerfs, both teams meeting each other here out on the point. The Mercy gets down low. They know they need to focus her down, but she's able to escape. 31% and counting over the side of Geometric as they continue holding strong. The Pulse Bomb available for Sky as Ascend gets 3 on the Doomfist. Absolutely nasty. He just descends on the backline. Nobody is safe with the squishies, and that's a team kill for the side of Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, just great play by Ascend there, able to get 3 in that fight. And now you're going to be going into a position for Galactic Gibbons that is looking very good. And Geometric does swap to Echo, but Galactic Gibbons has so many ults that they will probably be able to steamroll this for the rest of the map. Just got to make a good pulse bomb here.
It'll be interesting to see. Maybe Gibbons can force out a few ultimates. Maybe they can sort of find the ones that matter. Koi goes down, or CDY goes down, I apologize. Monarch's able to pick him off with a very nice hack. Emily's able to pick off the Mercy, trying to res, and there it is. +1 up for the side of Geometric. The Pulse Bomb does land on the Emily, though. Half the healing now gone for the side of Geometric, but they have to find a fight win here. 80% and counting, and it sort of stalled out with a bit of poke. Sure,
Yeah.
For Sarah. He gets poked out though. The hack is there, but it's just not enough to find him kills. He nearly dives into the highways. And once again, Galactic Gibbons able to sort of swing it back. Churg and Glimpse both go down, and Monarch trying to find anything they can, but it's just at this point, it's so many ultimates online for the side of Galactic Gibbons, like you said before, and they have such a powerhouse right now. Not enough damage going to be there to sort of follow through on the EMP, and that is going to be an Oasis. Goes the way of Galactic Gibbons.
Wow, that was very, very good. And as I was saying, the Pharah, they do get the pick the first time, but they just got to deal with the rest of the team at that point. They commit so hard to kill the Pharah that they just aren't really prepared for the rest of the fight to go through, and I think that really hurt them. Very good pick on the Pharah, but the Pharah comes back eventually, so, you know, just got to be able to clean up the rest of the fight.
And, you know, speaking of that sort of fight win, the fact that they were able to pick off the Pharah, it looked for a minute there that Geometric could potentially sort of pull it back, right? It looked like that Geometric had the advantage, had the moment where they could have seized victory. So, and then they sort of disengaged. They disappeared. They hid behind. They got a little scared and didn't quite claim the victory that could have been theirs. I wonder, either A, why, or B, were they afraid of something that was coming?
Yeah, I think it comes down to how aggressive they played to try and kill that Pharah, that at that point you use so many of your abilities, you kind of have to play back and you just have to just take a breather. But eventually you have to go back into the fight, and I think that did hurt them, that they were not able to really clean up that fight. But it was a good pick on the Pharah. You just, again, just kind of have to understand when do we pull out, or when do we just get ready for the rest of the fight. And I mean, just didn't really have any ults either. The swaps they made kind of hurt them a little bit too, but I mean, there was just a lot that goes into it.
Right. Swaps, whenever you're swapping characters, whenever you're trying to change up strategies, obviously you're going to lose a little bit of ult percentage if it's in mid-game. And then you've got to really think, okay, what's my opponent going to play in between matches, right? We know what they kind of like. They know what we kind of like. Do we have a counter idea for what they like? Or are they going to try to counter us? And that's one of the trickiest things about playing Overwatch, is what is my enemy going to play, and how do I best prepare for it? We saw it especially when that match opened, we saw two completely different styles of comp. Now Doom, typically you would consider to be like a sort of dash in, dash out sort of hero, like one of those dive heroes. So sort of like Winston, but whenever you're taking a look at what Galactic Gibbons was trying to run with that Winston, that Tracer, and that Sombra, it was two totally different tastes, and I'm curious to see like if we're gonna get sort of cousins of compositions as we continue going on through this. So, with Hollywood being our next map, speaking of compositions, any sort of ideas, thoughts, comments, concerns?
Well, when we're going to Hollywood, I'm expecting the Galactic Gibbons to kind of just run what they usually run, which is going to be that Sombra Tracer Winston on a Brig. But I really don't know what we're going to see from Geometric. I think you could pull out the Pharah if you really wanted to. I think there's a good chance, though, you see Winston Echo Tracer, though. There's just so many comps that they can run, but I do think you are going to see a dive versus dive style because that is what these teams seem to favor. So whether it's going to be the Echo Tracer or it's going to be the Pharmacy, I'm kind of excited to see what Geometric wants to run here.
Absolutely, and you know, I have to question, right? So if Gibbons knows that they like running this dive and they continue pushing for this Reaper composition that was so dominant on the first point, especially of Oasis, like Reaper sort of puts a dent in the whole thing with there being a Winston and a Tracer. Short Tracer can sort of hold their own, but you get one wrong left click from a Reaper and it's game over. Winston kind of don't even bother. I mean, you could play Diva maybe try to match on the Zarya, go for that brawl composition. I just don't know how exactly you're gonna play around this Reaper. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if you do see Reaper here, it's probably going to be something similar to what they were doing on that first round that we saw, where they kind of play their Reaper so aggressive to just try and get picks, and you have the bubbles to get them out, and you also have the Lifeweaver pull to get them out. You have Suzu to get them out. So there's a lot of ways that you can get them out of that fight, but I think it's just more likely we will see a dive matchup. If it does get into a dire situation, you could see them pull out that Reaper and try to play that playstyle again, but I'm very, very much expecting the Echo and the Tracer from that team.
Yeah, I mean, we get like sort of dive counterparts. It just, to me, it seems very interesting to sort of go toe to toe with this dive composition on Hollywood, which granted is open, right? So you've got your first point obviously with the high grounds for the supports, but it's always like defense dive is very tricky to master. You've got to be careful. You've got to know who you're going to dive upon. Usually you have the high ground advantage to begin with, and then you're giving that up, right? So it's this really weird trade back and forth, especially when you're on the defense and you're playing this sort of dive / poke style. Typically on defense, you'd want that poke, right? You'd want to be able to hold your ground. You'd never want to give up that high ground, but in a dive on dive situation, that's not necessarily an option.
Yeah. Well, in the dive on defense, setting up in that little cafe is always just a very, very good idea. And if you're running Sombra on the defense, you can hack the health pack in that room, and that's going to keep your backline alive because they can just drop down and they can sustain themselves forever. And that's a key thing in the dive matchup. It's about sustaining your backline when these dives are coming in. And I think it's going to help them out a lot if they do run the Sombra. I could see it. They might play also very aggressive with it, right? This is a match that they actually played on this map in their last match. And again, what they ran was that Echo Tracer versus the Sombra Tracer. So there's a key difference with these comps, and when you're running Echo Tracer, it is a lot about kind of playing slower. You're getting more value from poke, and you're also forcing their backline to get off of the high ground, because if they're on the high ground, you can just fly above them. You can do a lot of damage to them. While the Sombra Tracer, you're playing a lot almost faster. You're trying to stop them from engaging a lot of the time, and Hack is very good at this. And when they are playing very coordinated, which we have seen from them, I'm expecting them to play very aggressive on this backline, and their DPS coordination is just very, very good too. That's something I'm very, very happy to see.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how well, considering their high team coordination, how well they're going to be able to continue to execute on this sort of Sombra idea, right? Because the moment you hack somebody with Sombra, they lose all movement abilities, they lose the ability to escape. It becomes very easy to sort of pounce on them, like a wolf to the rabbit, not a rabbit to the wolf. The rabbit doesn't pounce on the wolf. That's not how that works, me. Anyways, regardless, looks like your prediction was spot on, my friend.
Yeah. This is the map they played, exact same comps they ran. And the last time that they did this, it was Geometric coming out on top. We'll see if that changes though.
So we're going to get a little bit of a roundabout from the side of Monarch, who went a little dangerously on that Sombra. Doesn't get quite caught out, and the fight has started on the point. They're seeing Anya also diving into the back line, but right now it seems so disconnected, these fights do. Neither team really trying to sort of see one target, either team really finding a pick.
Yeah, we really want to see them do here is force this Winston out, and there it is, he jumps out. Now this is going to be very good for the backline of Geometric to kind of walk up and play it fast with a nade.
There's a nice dive into the backline as Geometric and Hanya, they're able to, Hanya and Cherd are able to dive into the backline, but CDY able to get both supports down now for either team, which trades left, right, front, and center, and Sky's gonna be able to fight, pick out Cherd. Battle of the Tracers, and it is going to go the way of Geometric. There it is, one tick at the very least. I don't think Galactic Gibbons is going to get the touch again.
Yeah, I don't know if they do get the touch, but as I said, Geometric, they played first with the nade, and they got the picks, and then were able to turn around quick and get a fight going.
Yeah, absolutely. Sleep Dart woken up the sleeping Sombra, but there's the ultimate for the side of CDY as Sky is able to pick one off the Pulse Bomb as well. Galactic Gibbons retaking control of this point one by one, are able to find through with a very coordinated assault at the sacrifice of the Break. Sky going to be able to take out Hanya on the Tracer counterpart, and that will be a hold at 2.9997 ticks.
Yeah, and that was a very, very good play by Sky from Galactic Gibbons. We're able to get, I believe, 3 final blows in that fight. And they only really use 2 ults. They're going to be coming up on the Nano this fight. I'm expecting Galactic Gibbons to play very fast with Nano here. Play off a nade. Don't let him get to high ground.
Hanya already able to pick off CDY, and no one's able to sort of stop that from happening. Once again, Nano Monkey on one side, on the side of Denji, going to be finding 2, both supports down now once again for the side of Geometric, and this is going to open up that fight hard. Cherd trying to return the favor with a primal of his own as he jumbles some people in the saloon. Cherd able to pick off 2, make that 3, and that's actually going to be reversed by Cherd, who uses the primal first. He dedicates the ultimate for the win. Now CDY still in the backline, still causing some havoc, but it is a battle of the monkeys. The primal comes out for 1. Will he be able to stall back enough for his Echo to clean up for the rest of Galactic Gibbons to sort of find their way back? Sky is back with the Pulse Bomb now, and it is down to the wire. He's got it. The support counter is so low, and once again Geometric just can't keep their supports alive. They fall like dominoes, and there it goes. Sky's able to pick up Cherd, and once again a beautiful hold there from the side of Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, that was a very, very good fight there. And I was going to say, very good plays by Cherd, which it was still good plays. They weren't able to win the fight, and this is a player that I was very excited to watch going into this matchup, and it was because of their Winston, and they got 3 picks, but they just weren't able to clean up, and it really comes down to the ult usage from Galactic Gibbons to clean up the fight.
Damage being traded out once again. 35 seconds remaining, so this is basically last fight as we're going to be getting into Geometric only needing to capture 1 more tick. Sky's able to pick off Emily though. Hanya's able to trade that with the Brig anyways, and now it's a 4v4 on the point. Hanya going absolutely insane, has the rally at their side, so that's a dangerous trade for nobody's able to find any picks. Why is it to pick up Flint? Now, if you've got an ultimate, you use it at this point. Hanya, no ultimates online actually for either one of these teams really. Cherd's diving into the backline, able to pick off another one, and Geometric's finally finding their way through. There's only a few more defenders for the side of Galactic Gibbons. Will they be able to do it? Will they be able to pick them off? Pee Wee Wonder and CDY both go down. Cherd gets down extremely low as only 2 people remain on the side for Galactic Gibbons, but it will not be enough, and that will be point A captured.
Yeah, that was just seemed like one of those very scrappy fights, and they were able to pull through with it, and now they're going into the next fight with Primal Rage already up, and 2 DPS ults coming online too. The EMP is one I'm most excited to see here, but Cherd does get picked off early.
Not necessarily a huge loss. Now, maybe Galactic Gibbons are able to counter-attack here and stop the push early, maybe get a early team fight win, but it doesn't look like they're really fishing for it. Cherd's going to be back now with multiple ultimates online for either team. We're just going to see how this goes.
Yeah, and it looks like Galactic Gibbons are going to be able to build the Kitsune Rush, and I'm expecting them to play very fast with it, like in 3 seconds basically. They're going to drop down and just run with it. As Hanya does get to pick up Hippy Wonder.
Absolutely, that's a nice pick there for the side of Geometric because they're going to continue pushing forward here. Galactic Gibbons, they're going to be scared to sort of commit to any sort of defense, any sort of dive. Now they're down to support, and more dive power is coming through. Both supports down now, and Geometric, they've been non-stop this entire point, and they have 4 ultimates online.
Yeah, so that's very impressive that they were able to win that fight without using any ult, and forcing Galactic Gibbons to use some ults as well. So what I'm expecting here is they're going to use EMP as Galactic Gibbons are pushing out of their spawn, and then maybe they're going to clean it up with the Nano Winston. Or they combo them both together, we will see.
Nano Winston could be nasty here. We also have the, like you said, the EMP from Geometric, which is basically a team fight win. Double pulse bomb takes out both supports, and the fight ends before it can even begin. Absolutely nasty. Sky gets taken down as well, and that is going to be a clean run to the second point with 2 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I might just be overthinking it. I guess Hanya is just going to kill 2 with a pulse bomb. That's a good fight plan. While we're they do use the Nano anyway. Clean up the fight. It's not bad. You still have EMP for this next fight, and again, this could be very big, but Galactic Gibbons is swapping to Orisa Bastion, which isn't that bad. Can hold space. Okay, Bab, or okay, they're just playing to play counter dive here. They're gonna try and melt Church.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're playing for the absolute idea that their backline is, you know, sort of trying to get in caught off guard. But Monarch does the EMP though. We discussed before. It's basically a fight for the ultimate and follow up on there. And there goes Ascend and CDY both go down. 2 members already down to the side of Galactic Gibbons as Churd has the primal. He's in the backline. He's going to be sort of juggling anybody who gets in the way. Geometric not stopping one bit.
Yeah, and this next fight's going to be very tough though, because you did just use that EMP. Your best bet is to walk in with your rally and maybe be able to build pulse bomb in the mid fight.
There's the rally, absolutely. Churd still has the primal rage. Anya is going to be able to stick the pulse bomb on the CDY. It's going to get a massive pick onto the Bastion. So much DPS pressure out now as the anti-nade falls on the Orisa's head. Ascend goes down as well. Members of the Galactic Gibbons are just falling like flies. Ultimate's not even fully used, and there it's going to go. That is Geometric capturing with 48 seconds left on the clock.
Wow, and I did call it. I called they were going to walk in with the rally, look for the pulse bomb in the mid fight to try and clean up. And that's exactly what they did, and that is just what you have to do. I don't even think the swap was that bad. The swapping to the Orisa Bastion Torb, that's not a bad swap. You're playing very much to counter their dive, and especially on this point that is so enclosed, it would be very, very hard for Geometric to really get phalanx going and surround them, which is what they want to do when they're running Sombra Tracer, right? So it's just they ran into the ults. That's really all it was.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you team swipe, when you comp swap that bad, I apologize, tongue twister. You're gonna run into a few issues, right? You know, Geometric's been dominating the field, right? You know that they've been winning team fight after team fight after team fight, which means they're gonna have ultimates online. And anytime you team swap, well, you've got a maximum of 30% of your ultimate to your bank, and you've got to build it up against the wall of ultimates that your enemy has. Even with the spawn advantage, it becomes a very difficult task to sort of take back control of a fight, even with the anti-dive comp.
Yeah, and I guess it also goes down to Geometric's coordination, right? Only having to use EMP to win one fight is very good because they were able to use their other 2 ults in the next fight. And that is why Geometric is... Or not Geometric, the Galactic Gibbons, right? Wait.
No, it was Geometric.
No, it was Geometric, yeah. My bad. But that's why they did so good. That's really all it is. Good all rotation, good coordination.
Absolutely, we're going to be seeing Monarch here. A little bit of spy checking coming in from the side of Galactic Gibbons. They are paranoid. They know that this Sombra is no joke. Going to be trying to dive on this brig. There's the hack. There's the dive that comes through. And the anti-nade is beautiful. He's able to pick off both supports. Absolutely beautiful there from the side of Galactic Gibbons. That was a textbook dive. Hanya able to pick off 2 more. And oh my goodness, just beautiful.
Yeah, that was very, very clean. And that's what I was so excited to see in this matchup, was this coordination from Geometric and how everything just collapses in at the same time. And wow, that was beautiful. Just a very beautiful dive.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, you know, 3 minutes on the clock, so they burned a minute off already. And there it is, once again a hack, but the dive doesn't come through. The dive is missed. Churd is pushed back, and they both go down, having overextended. Now it's just the sports on the high ground being chased by an anti-nade, and there's not really a whole lot Geometric can do besides group up right now.
Yeah, and it looks like they also broke Monarch's translocator, which is why it seemed that they were just kind of in. It seems that they just broke it, and that's just kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Churd does die. They just kind of mess up the dive a little bit.
Now at 2 ticks, not quite. Galactic Gibbons trying to hold on to this to sort of secure that fight, but we've seen before Geometric's able to come back strong. This guy's able to pick off Churd, and Galactic Gibbons, they get the first pick, but will it be enough? With that pulse bomb, it doesn't quite find anything. PB Wonder is able to pick off Hanya before they're able to use it. The nano on the break, but they get anti-nades, and those anti-nades have come out huge. That is going to be point A captured.
Yeah, and I think that's also just Geometric doesn't really have time to set up there, so their dive is just not as clean, and which is something that has helped them a lot, is having clean dives. When they don't really have it, it's harder for them to win these fights, and you just get picked off early, and there's Hanya gets slept and picked.
Gonna be, you know, we saw a very, very, very similar sort of circumstance now, but Galactic Gibbons, they have 4 minutes on the clock, much better than what Geometric was running, despite the flawless run afterwards. Nano gets a little wasted due to the sleep, and Genji not gonna chase into that, obviously. Is actually gonna pick off Churd, who gets found.
Yeah, I think Churd just didn't really notice that their supports dropped, and that's just kind of unfortunate. You know, Churd was probably already into the fight, and as they're trying to get out, they get picked off like that. But it was just also a good play by Galactic Gibbons, only having to use the nano, and you force their supports off the high ground, and then you're able to turn and kill the Winston. But you are going into a fight here with basically 4 ults online, both teams, similar ults. So probably gonna look for see an EMP here.
Oh my goodness, the damage. That's absolutely ridiculous.
So much damage.
Now 4 ultimates on life inside of Geometric, and they opt not to use the primal there. The pulse bomb goes through as well, but doesn't get anything, and Hanya is gonna get picked off. So it's looking kind of rough for Geometric as Galactic Gibbons. They sort of hold this high ground without mercy.
Yeah, and I mean, Galactic Gibbons did only have to use 1 ult there, so you're still going into a very good matchup, and we see the EMP come out here.
Sombra EMP gonna be finding, I believe that was 2 or 3, but oh my goodness, a double pulse bomb once again. We see it's mirror after mirror after mirror after mirror. Can we count how many mirrors we've seen? What is this mirror on the wall? Geometric might just fall. Holy bananas. Anyways, Denji and Pee-wee gonna find the last 2 picks, and that is gonna be point B captured with 4 minutes in the clock for Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, and the tough thing is that the EMP found the Tracer and the Winston, but they can get out, right? They just weren't really able to hit the backline with that, and it just makes it much harder to win that fight still, because you're not going to be able to kill the Tracer most of the time unless you are already diving with the EMP, so your timing would have to be basically perfect in order for that to work. But Geometric does still have the rally. It's still not that bad for them. They can sustain a very good engage here.
Absolutely. Galactic Gibbons, they don't have, you know, they don't have this sort of like super oppressive ultimate advantage, right, that Geometric had previously, because they had to use them in order to win. Now Geometric's gonna have a good chance with 3 ultimates online, and the rally comes through. Hanya's able to find CDY.
Yeah, that's really big. They just play aggressive with the rally, are able to get the picks that they need. But the Galactic Gibbons backline is still on the high ground. Let's see how they get out of this one.
Getting a little caught out by Geometric Monkey. Not going to be too much danger if they don't overkill themselves. And Galactic Gibbons have put to the point in 3 minutes. Nano now coming in. The primal available to Denji, but is sort of getting CC'd hard by the enemy backline. Primal in this tiny window, I kind of want to see it, but you want to be careful with that sleep dart. The rally comes through to the side of Gibbons. See the way able to pick up the corner. Oh my goodness, just back and forth. Neither team quite finding a dominant victory here, but Ascent's able to pick off Glimpse, and this is sort of just a time waster by Geometric, it feels like.
I mean, yeah, I mean, a lot of ults were used to kind of drag out this fight too, and Churd does still have the primal, so I'm guessing they're going to use it in this next fight along with the EMP. So this is should be a very winnable fight for Geometric here if they can get a big EMP on the backline. And I'm pretty sure the Galactic Gibbons do opt to send their backline to the high ground here, but we will see what happens during this fight. We want to see a huge EMP.
There it is. It is going to go on the break. The sun's up there, and there it gets followed up perfectly by the side of Churd, calling it perfectly once again, my friend. Another Ascend gets descended upon, and once again, Geometric going to be able to find a sort of defense here. Now they have to burn 1.5 minutes off the clock. Got to be careful with my words when there's an enemy echo on the team.
Yup, anything can happen, but again, very clean EMP play by Geometric, and then that's really the only ult they have to use. I think that's the only ult they had, but it's the only ult you have to use. So you're going to be coming up on the rally and the primal again. After this fight, you should be getting your nano, so your ult rotation's looking very good for your last fight. And it looks like Geometric opts to play very fast here.
We've got the Primal Rage copy, which is interesting. 2 Winstons diving into the backlines, or at least should be, but trying to take care of the Tracer is a very difficult task. Luckily, Glimpse and Emily both go down to Sky. Sky's able to pick off 3, might make it a 4th as the Winston from side of Geometric Churds trying his best to sort of stall it out. Monarch's able to pick off CDY, and Churd with the Primal Rage is able to stay alive, and once again they get the nice reset with what seemed like a Galactic Gibbons victory.
Yeah, that was, again, very good. Sky got 3 in that fight. 3 final blows, and they still were not able to close it out. Churd uses the primal at the end. I guess it was just also a good dive by Geometric. The fact that they played so fast early on kind of set them up for the rest of the fight, and we see a huge stick by Hanya. This is going to make it the next fight the last one. Oh.
Yeah,
Monarch
absolutely
is
massive. 30 seconds remaining, actually 20 seconds remaining, and Churd and Monarch both go down. Geometric, they don't have anything to defend themselves. It's falling apart at the last second. They've sort of choked it up, but even then, they still have a 30-second lead at the very least against Gibbons. They are pushing it in, though.
And you have the nano to the recontest.
You can win this fight here. There's the nano. Denji going into the backline. Sky's able to pick up Emily once again. It's looking so good for them, but there it is. 2 picks. PB Wonder and CDY both go down. Overtime is in effect. You want to stop Galactic Gibbons here, because if you do, you win this map. Monarch's able to pick off Denji. Overtime is ticking down. Will they be able to do it? Ultimate's online for nobody. The pulse bomb doesn't come in on time. Sky goes down, and that is going to be it. Maybe. Oh my goodness, the amount of touches.
There you go.
There we go. All right, absolutely. I wasn't going to
Wow.
continue calling that.
Very good last fight right there.
They pull it ahead. Oh my god, I don't even know what the play is going to be.
There is a lot that happened. And look at Sky. I mean, Sky just had a very, very good map, and they still were not able to really pull through. But again, it's just very good plays all around, very good coordination, and they also stopped the rally there too.
Yeah, absolutely. We just saw that double support pulse bomb, and then he got a 3rd kill. Unfortunately, there was a returned dive on their own backline that, because of those spawn advantages, the picks mattered more, and it just wasn't quite enough to sort of close that out. I mean, it looked really, really, really good for Galactic Gibbons there for a minute, but Geometric did a commendable job with those dives, able to shut out their enemy team and close this one to a 1-on-1.
Yeah, and again, the key to this series has been Geometric's coordination, and this map, it was really on show, right? With the Sombra Tracer, they just showed that they are here for a reason, right? This is the finals. They won the first game, right? So, I mean, it's just looked very, very good for them. Very clean dives, very good ult rotation, right? Only having to use one ult in a certain area or a certain part of the map really set them up, because now you're going into the last fight with 4 ults, or you're going into this fight with a couple of ults, right? And it matters which ults those are. So, like, for example, we were talking about they had 4 ults at one point, because in the one fight they only needed a nano, right? So just being able to do that is just such an impressive thing for any team, really. And just seeing them do it at such a high level is just very, very impressive.
Absolutely. Well, will Geometric be able to continue with that team coordinated dive, or will Galactic Gibbons be able to find something that sort of counteracts those same things, or maybe finds even better team coordination? It'll all just come down as we continue on in this series. The best of 5, the first to 3. Don't go away. We're going to be on a break.
Smash that.
Check this out.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the absolute banger of a series with the Overwatch Tranquility Discord tier preseason grand finals. My name is Merp. I'm joined by Telmjcan, and we are bringing you some epic Overwatch gameplay.
Yeah, that was a very, very good Hollywood right there. Very good plays by both teams, right? We saw, very good pulse bombs by Sky. We saw very good engages just in general by Geometric, right? We saw that first engage they had on their defense, or first or second, whichever one it was very clean. They got through that fight very quickly, and this was the style that I was very excited to see from them because I think it is probably one of their best comps, right? Running the Sombra Tracer Winston is very comfortable for them and really helps out their coordination when you can be on a comp that you're so comfortable on. And just kind of pushing that with their other comps too is going to help them out a lot throughout this series because we don't really know what maps we're going to see.
So speaking of, right, so Geometric, we know them to be a very, very, very solid Sombra Tracer Winston composition, right? They play it very well. They get the hack, they get the dives in, the anti-nades are there. It's just generally a beautiful stream of goodness, excuse me, that come out from Geometric. So my question to you is what's Galactic Gibbons' next move? Continue sort of mirroring this. We're going to Shambali, which I would also think still sort of plays into a dive, right? It's not the worst thing, especially on attack because you're going uphill. It's going to be very interesting to see, like, how do these teams sort of dismantle each other from the inside out?
Yeah, well, on Shambali, there's kind of a lot of things you can do. Some teams find a lot of comfort in the Sigma, and that's not bad. Very good. You go Sigma, double sniper, Bap Zen. I don't really know if either of these teams really run that. I haven't seen it from them, but if that is something they do, we could be in for a very, very good matchup, especially from the DPS, if we do get to see a double sniper matchup. If we do see the dive, again, probably will just be the Sombra Tracer, which isn't bad. It could work on this map, although I don't see it run as much as some other comps. Another thing you could see here is Ramatra. I've seen Ramatra Brawl played on here. You go Ramatra Mei, and then you can do like a Sojourn or a Hanzo, and then Bap Lucio. And I've seen that run a lot on both sides, really, attack and defense. But who really knows what we're going to see here? I haven't seen what they're going to run. I have no clue. So hopefully one of my predictions is right. I named like 6 comps.
I mean, you've got a pretty, like, it's basically like, what is that, Russian roulette? Or like,
yeah,
you're playing the slots at this point? Like,
yeah.
You've got a chance, you know? It is what it is. You've got one chance to be right out of 6 times. Though I guess that means you got 6 chances to be right out of 1 times.
Yeah.
Which is like reverse roulette, kind of, sort of. Anyway, so if one of these teams does go Brawl, that will be sort of a newish look. I believe it was Geometric tried to play around with it for a little bit with the Reinhardt, but it didn't pan out too great for them in the first map, right? So
yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if either of these teams really go that sort of Brawl, that sort of hold the line compositions like the Ramatra or the Reaper to sort of counteract this dive that we see.
Yeah, and Galactic Gibbons, from what I saw, they ran the first time they played this team, Lijiang Tower Control Center, they ran the Mei Reaper, and it worked very, very good for them because, again, Sky just TP'd in and did whatever they wanted, was able to get a lot of value, and they were just playing off of the pincer, and that helped them out a lot. So I think that's honestly something we could see here. This might be the reason why they chose this map, right? Because this was their map choice, correct?
Yes, it's loser's pick. So this was Galactic Gibbons' pick because Geometric was able to steal away the previous map. Now, with that being said, it's regardless of whatever these two, it's going to be very interesting to see because these two teams have been so close, right? Initially, it looked like maybe Galactic Gibbons was just going to kind of run away with it. Maybe it looked like that Geometric got sort of called out on the first map, but once you take it back and you go look at Hollywood, right? Hollywood versus Oasis, and you see the difference in playstyle, and you see the difference in communication and speed and fluidity. Geometric, they're here to play.
Yeah. Again, so the biggest reason I think they did choose Shambali was because of the Brawl. I mean, I'm hoping I'm right here because this is a wild guess. I do expect to see the Mei Reaper Brawl then, since this was their map choice. Along with, I think Geometric, since they opt more for that Winston Sombra Tracer, I think it'd be hard to run into the Reaper Brawl, but it's something you could see happen, so we'll see what they're running here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so we're going to be seeing, man, Shambali, Shambali gets a bad rap, and I don't understand it. I'm going to defend Shambali with my life. I will stake this. Merp thinks Shambali is a fantastic map, and you can put my name on it everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your opinion? You like it? Don't like
I
it?
mean, I like it because usually when Shambali happens, I get some playtime on my team, although I get 1 or 2 maps here and there. So I only like it. I get to play Sigma. Very fun. Don't think I'm going to play ever again, but we'll see. We see Ashe Tracer. I don't hate this comp, right? The Ashe, you kind of get a lot of value when they're grouped together, which if we do see the brawl from Galactic Gibbons, the Ashe can get a lot of value. Hanya's Tracer is going to be interesting to see how they play into this comp, though, because running Tracer into this Bastion brawl is so difficult because there's not somebody easy to go after. If Sky does play the Widow, then yeah, you do have somebody easy to go after. But Geometric does want to play slower here. They're running the Sig, Zen, Bab. Galactic Gibbons is running Lucio. Looks like Sky is going to swap to Sojourn. This is a very strong comp here. We saw this in the Ascendant tier finals, actually. Well, other than the Lifeweaver, but they just swapped.
The only issue is going to be sort of closing distance, but I guess with the Sojourn there, if you get a lucky headshot, it doesn't necessarily matter. And there it is, actually. Hanya is actually going to be the one going in deep, trying to find a little bit of ult charge before the fight starts. And currently, these teams being at its poking stage, you know, it really is just on the Galactic Gibbons to get into the faces of Geometric.
Yeah, Galactic Gibbons is opting for a much more split push, right, with this Lifeweaver and Bastion kind of taking their own angle and then letting Sky and Denji and Ascend kind of take a different angle and just run at them. But, and it's worked so far. They've gotten a lot of space, but they haven't pushed the card up a lot, so we have to see them do that more.
Well, Galactic Gibbons, they've got plenty of room to push this forward. Geometric sort of pushed back around this corner now. Sort of scared of this Bastion. Reinhardt diving in too deep. There's the Hanya's pulse bomb. Not able to find a stick. Which could have opened up that fight, but not able to do it. Reinhardt is down low, but CDY is able to get off Glimpse, and that's absolutely crazy. Galactic Gibbons diving in deep. Sky's able to pick off one in the name of Emily, and they're not being stopped. There is no pressure coming in from the side of Geometric.
Yeah, and it's just because Geometric, like, the idea of their comp is, yeah, we want to play slow, we want to play for poke, but it's so hard to do it against what Galactic Gibbons is running right now because they have so much healing and they have the shield from Denji. So unless you get a Discord and you're just able to focus one person out on an off angle, it's going to be very hard to really hold space with Geometric's comp. But Galactic Gibbons is also just playing very aggressive with this Bastion and the Sojourn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to get to their faces, right? The Bastion is good whenever nobody has a chance to run. Hanya's able to pick off CDY eventually, but there it goes. 4.5 minutes on the A-point capture. And Galactic Gibbons, I mean, this is going to be even a spot right here, at least around the first 2 corners, where Gibbons' comp is even more favorable, right? Because they're up close and personal.
Yeah, and really Galactic Gibbons also just hasn't used an ult yet, so they're going into this, and neither has Geometric, but they're going into this fight with a lot of ults, and if they can take tempo, like if they use this window very aggressively, this could be very good for the Galactic Gibbons, and maybe they only need the window.
Solid pull with the Lifeweaver, saving them from the pulse bomb, I think, but oh my goodness, we were liars. We said Galactic Gibbons' top was the favorite here, but they absolutely got. Yep, Hanya picks off 3.
Well, yeah, and it's also Monarch gets the off angle from that high ground and is able to peek through the window, get a big dynamite, but you also saw Geometric use the window and the Bob. So Galactic Gibbons is going into this fight with a huge ult advantage, going in with all 5 ults. They're going to be able to walk in with the window here and kind of use whatever they want. You just don't want to use too much.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't want to press all the Qs though. There's the Bastion Barrage. Going to sort of split off one and actually pick off Glimpse. There's the Immortality Field gone now. The Baptiste no longer available, but that Discord Orbit is putting in so much damage into Denji. It's such a crucial cooldown to be wary of the tank. And with that pressure, with that added pressure of the Discord Orb, ultimately it's like Galactic Gibbons, but they're still dying. They're still not able to push forward here. And with some beautiful plays from the side of Geometric, that Pulse Bomb included, they're going to continue to hold here.
Nice big spot on you right there. Jeez. Yeah, and Galactic Gibbons does use 2 ults, and Geometric kind of matches that with, well, actually, they use 3. They use the window too, right? So, I mean, you do win the fight, though, and you have Transcendence for the next one. My expectation here is that the Galactic Gibbons are going to push in with their window and use their Sojourn ult once they already have the space. Geometric wants to play a little bit split here so that they can get just value from their poke. As you see the window go in.
The window goes in. The shatter is here. Backline is open for the side of Geometric. They could find a very nice shatter here to sort of clean up a couple members, but they're not going for it. And the poke damage and the off angle from the side of Geometric is just putting in so much damage. Despite having a very nice start to this fight, Gibbons is just sort of trying to find any progress they can without really taking a pick or taking too much space.
Yeah, and it really, Geometric just splits them up so much. As you can see, Denji was just kind of sitting there in the middle because they didn't know where to go. They didn't know if they want to run on the DPS or run onto the supports. And there's a huge bob there right now.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Sorry. It was massive. I was like, well, there goes the send. And
Yeah, there it goes.
Geometric holds strong once again. And I mean, at this point with Gibbons, what do you do?
I mean, I think they are going to do it right now. They're just going to swap because the big problem that Galactic Gibbons has been having is they get super split and they're not really running onto something, right? That the fight that they use that window, that's a very good fight at that point because you split them up, right? Your best bet's actually to run onto the backline and get the cleanup as Sky gets a huge pick on the Hanya right there. This opens up a lot. And a rock. Ooh.
Very nice rock, I believe, to cancel out the Gravitic Flux. The window gets put down in return. Geometric do not want to give up this position that they've held on to for so long. Turns able to pick off Denji, and that's tank down now for the side of Galactic Gibbons, so it's going to be way more dangerous for the Squishies to take any space. And with 30 seconds remaining, the sound barrier there just to try to clean up the fight. They know they need to win this one. The Transcendence there to keep Geometric alive. Neither team wanted to give this one up at all.
Ooh, and a huge pick again. This guy is having a game today.
Yes, Glimpse goes down, so does Emily, and now no supports online for the side of Geometric. Galactic Gibbons are holding down firm. They're going to be pushing forward out to 15 seconds left on the clock. It's looking a little dicey for the side of Galactic, though, as the send does go down. And supports keep getting traded, right? You want them dead as quickly as possible. You want them out of your face. You want them to not heal your enemy. If they don't get healing, all damage is permanent. Now 0.66 meters away. Overtime is here. The fight must be won in order for Galactic Gibbons to continue pressing forward. Sky has the overcharge that he's going to go through. Emily does take down CDY, which is unexpected, right? The rabbit has now leaped onto the wolf. And neither team really finding any pure victory.
Such a very crazy fight here. Huge flux.
But the immortality field is just as big, and he has to regenerate first. It keeps everybody alive. Kurt is able to pick off a Sen. Sky's able to pick off Tanya. It's one trade after the other. The window comes through first, though. Ultimate after ultimate after ultimate after ultimate. Wow. Overtime is taking down, and Galactic Bonds goes to Galactic Gibbons.
Galactic Gibbons. Wow, that is just such a crazy fight. The trades that came in, crazy. I think what really gets the setup though is Ascent getting picked off early, and I mean they just got picked off. You're going into this fight, or they went into that next fight going in 4 versus 5 without your Baptiste. It's very tough. Galactic Gibbons, they held in though. They held out. They were able to extend this fight for their support to get back, but you know, Geometric they were just able to clean it up, right? That's really all it comes down to. They get, whether it's the target focus, the ult usage, they were able to clean it up, and Galactic Gibbons just couldn't, right? But that was a very good fight from both sides. You saw a lot of good picks, good ult usages. I'm very excited to see this next round.
Well, so in my mind, right, whenever we take a look at that, right, Galactic Gibbons, they did lose one, and they still had 30 seconds left on the clock. I think they could have retreated and tried again without trying to force out a sound barrier to take, advantage of a neutral lead, right?
Yeah.
So they picked off one, they got their support picked off. Unfortunately, Geometric was able to get back together first, and the sound barrier sort of just fell flat after a minute.
Yeah, and it's gonna be tough to push back in though because you're running Sigma, right? It's not very. If you're going into that Sig mirror, the team that is playing defensive or is just holding space is always going to be at the advantage. So I guess they kind of just had to sit there on cart and just wait, I guess, and just play for the long fight to get your bat back and get your ults, and a huge pick early on.
Yeah, CDY immediately
log right there.
Emily. Yeah, welcome to Hanzo. Let me just know your location and snipe you in the head.
Yeah.
And that's immediately going to put this attack on the front foot. Right, or actually,
it's very low there.
On the back foot, I apologize.
Denji is a little bit mispositioned right now. If Geometric can push very aggressive right here, they're going to be pushing into a team that does not have their Sigma.
they do start getting aggressive. They are now in control of the high ground. This is a very dangerous situation for the side of Gibbons.
And
It's-
there's
oh my
Monarch.
goodness.
There it is.
Yeah.
That's Hanzo.
Yeah. High ground because perspective, and you get to choose when you fall on your enemy's head. Churd's gonna be able to pick off a send, and this defense sort of falls apart in the hands of Galactic Gibbons as they're gonna be pushed back around the final corner to point A.
Yeah, and that's really just what you said, right? They got the high ground, and they were able to get the pick, and they're able to clean up. And I mean, here it goes again. Sky gets another pick early on in the fight.
This is Galactic Gibbons though. Finally, they have the high ground. See, it's a trade
Yep.
of the high grounds. If you have high ground, you win. And the DPS know it. They find two picks because of that uphill battle and because of perspective and the way physicals work. They're able to find the 2 picks and they're able to clean up that fight.
Yeah, and yeah, really, that's really what it was. They were able to get an early pick and able to push in, and that's just kind of how the Sigma comp works. Geometric can kind of play a little bit more aggressive because you have the Tracer. You can kind of pressure the backline a little bit more, and as we see, the Tracer is doing that right now. So if Geometric can kind of push in here and take advantage of this could be very huge for them.
Sigma's staring face to face with each other. Hanya looking for a trick. He's able to pick up Denji though, and now both teams trading out, but Galactic giving their DPS keep them to the front. Hanya in their quest to sort of find value with the pulse bomb is going to be able to take out TDY, but will it be in time to sort of begin the rest of the fight as the rest of their team has sort of fallen? Getting down low in this one-on-one against the Zen, which is very dangerous. Shurd is back, and they're fighting a little bit of progress.
Yeah, I mean, that pulse bomb might be very big here because they're getting their team back, right? You're going to be able to push in with the window. You can clean up the fight with the Flux, but Galactic Gibbons has ults to match. They don't have a Transcendence to match the Flux, but you have a window, you have a Flux. And they're using the Soldier ult to push in here.
Is able to find one, the Flux finds them, those guys probably going to go down here with a massive immortality field to keep them alive. They're able to get a melee on the Hanya. What a beautiful turnaround from that. Talk about an Uno reverse card. Monarch's going to pick off a send as trades come left, right, front, and center. The fight is chaotic. The window comes down from the side of Geometric as well. So many ultimates online for either of these teams, and they are investing heavily. A minute left on the clock, and Geometric find 2 more. Flux comes through as well.
Shurd is very
able to
low here.
cancel it.
Gotta sustain.
There it
They
is,
have
the Transcendence to keep them alive now, and Geometric gonna continue putting in so much pressure.
Yeah, and it also looks like Gibbons matched with the Transcendence, and they still have the Dragon to clean this up. It's still even right now. It's still 4v4, I believe. But they were able to get the pick on the Monarch and Hanya. It looks like they're just going to win this fight here. But yeah, that was a very long
absolutely
fight.
crazy. That fight was like a minute and a half, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
Denji
and so many
wins
ults
on
were
level
used.
3. I just,
And-
now what do you do as Geometric?
I mean, as Geometric here, you just gotta hope Hanya gets a big pulse again. That's kind of really all you can play for. You may be able to build a window during this fight, but you're at 54. So this is a very tough fight for Geometric. Gibbons have the Dragon to kind of hold them off. So I'm excited to see if they can play aggressive with this Dragon.
There it is around the corner, but pressure is still being put on the point. Shurd, I believe, is staying alive for as long as possible. CDY is able to escape in time. And no picks come out from either DPS ultimate. Now it's just a race against the clock. Denji's about to pull out the Flux. Overtime is ticking down. Can anybody touch? Can anybody continue to contest? But players fall down from the side of Geometric as they look like they're about to be stopped here in the middle of something. But there's the Flux. Able to find plenty, and Geometric go down.
Yeah, wow. Galactic Image just had a very good defense there, and a lot of it was these picks by the DPS. Sky and what we say, Koi or CDY? Which one? Like Koi?
I thought it was CDY. My stream's a little blurry, so I apologize if it's Koi and I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
Yeah, I think it might be Koi, but either way, we know who you're talking about. It was just very, very good DPS play by them, and they really showed out. Hanya also was very good too, but I mean, again, very good DPS matchup, and Galactic Gibbons just were able to close out those long fights, and as we saw on that first point defense, or really the entire defense, they were able to take these long fights and they were able to win them, right? Without having to use all of your ults at once. They were able to cycle these ults very, very well, and it kind of set them up for the entire map, because Geometric also has good ult usage, but Galactic Gibbons was just a little bit better at it. They were able to get a full hold, very good DPS play, just very good play all around, honestly.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can only trade so many ultimates before you've really got to consider like why neither one of these teams are able to find the value they need. And I think both these teams have a very, 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 very strong understanding of win and lost conditions, right? Back in Overwatch 1, if you take a look at anything meta a year ago, right, you would say, oh, you would use this ultimate as a win condition, right? But there was never really a loss condition. The only loss condition being, oh, we've lost 2 members of our team and now we need to fall back. You use barrier, you use EMP, they put down the window, you blossom, but they've got a sleep dart on you. Like, these are all sort of pendulum swings that both these teams I feel like have very, 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 very strong understanding of. Otherwise, how are you going to survive 12 ult fight consistently?
Yeah. And it's just really good play by both of these teams. They're making this a very fun series to watch, and they just had good map after good map, really. Which map did we say that we were going to be going into next? The Esperanza. So
Esperanza, yes, sir.
You know, going into push, I could see the Sombra Tracer happening again. This was the geometric map choice, so. Again, I do believe we will be seeing some Sombra Tracer Winston here and some Ana Brig. This is a very good map for it. A lot of good places for the backline to get set up. Galactic Gibbons, I don't really know what we're going to see. I mean, I could predict the Echo Tracer again, but they have shown that they can run a lot of comps and they can run them very well. So I don't know if they want to take the Winston duel, essentially, because it didn't really work for them on Hollywood. But, hey, maybe they have a good feeling about it. Maybe they do want to do the Echo Tracer. But I think they would see, I guess, more success on maybe another comp. Maybe try something different, because on Hollywood, the matchup didn't really work out in your favor. But who knows what we'll see. This is a different, different map, right? Different part of the series.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, you're it's at this point, right? Because it's a best of 5. Do not forget, it is a best of 5. First to 3. Geometric, they're sort of on a back foot. They're pushing to a corner. They have to bounce back for at least 1 more map, 2 more maps, technically, considering that they want to win, obviously, the grand finals of the preseason to sort of etch their names in the Discord tier. But regardless, they're sort of pushed back in this corner, right? Where now Galactic Gibbons are able to sort of toy with them a little bit, right? You've got the mental game that you also got to keep in mind too, and we're just going to see if Geometric can sort of keep up the speed as to which they have. I think Sombra, that Sombra Winston dive would look fantastic here for them.
Yeah, and that really is the reason they chose this map. It's just such a good map for it. And really all the push maps are good for Sombra Tracer, but I think this one especially because it's also very easy to get your backline set up and such, because there's good high ground and it's just hard to contest the backlines when you are on the back foot. Like in this spot right here, that high ground right there is very, very good for the backline. But, we'll see what's going to happen here. And here's the thing. Even if Geometric does win this map, then you're going into a Galactic Gibbons map choice, which is probably going to favor that Pharah style more, probably a Brawl style more. There's just a lot that can happen here. And as we see Galactic Gibbons, I don't hate this Moira Lucio. You're going to play very fast. You're playing much faster than what Geometric is trying to play here if they are going to start out on this Echo. It also seems that they brought in Splizzy for the Echo play, so I don't think we're going to see a lot of Sombra here. But the Echo Tracer is pretty good, especially going into a Moira Lucio where you can kind of play above them. They don't really have a good answer to the Echo other than just maybe hack her or kill her team first. So we'll see what happens in this first fight, though.
I mean, Moira can be half decent if you're focused more on DPS, but obviously that wouldn't be the role you'd want to play them in a team composition. Yeah, you trade out for sure. You trade out utility for raw pace with Galactic Gibbons comp, and Sky actually just gonna laser down Splizzy from the Echo. Glimpse able to trade out with Ascend, and with both supports down immediately for the side of Galactic Gibbons, it looks like Geometric's gonna take this one pretty handily.
Yeah, and it really does come down to, I guess, the tempo that really happened there. Because the Galactic Gibbons tried to play so fast and they didn't really have, I guess, maybe the abilities to survive it. their backline got picked off, and then the fight for Geometric just kind of went in their favor, even losing the Echo first. But we'll see what happens here in this next fight, as the dive is already happening.
Anya already able to pick off PB Wonder, let the Gibbons lose their Lucio. Once again, they're sort of split off. They're sort of getting caught. Their backline isn't quite being able to survive the amount of pressure that Geometric's able to put down. They're handling themselves in a very clean manner. Splitsy's able to pick off Sky eventually after a little bit of a stall. In 3.5 minutes, Geometric are looking very strong.
Yeah, and again, as I said, the high ground is so good for the backline on this map, because they're just able to survive up there, and Ascent can't really go up there when they're trying to engage. You have to kind of be very linear with your engagements when you're running Moira Lucio. As we see this engagement happening right now, it's face to face. It's a good matchup for them.
Galactic Gibbons trying to go through the dive, but it's just not enough. Despite having 3 people on 1 target, they're not able to find anybody. Sky has to use the pulse bomb to find any value, and with 3 of their team members going down, Galactic Gibbons are once again found in defeat.
Yeah, and also, like, we just have to look at where Geometric was that fight. They were kind of set up behind them, I believe. And that kind of allowed them to stay alive forever. And when you're, as Galactic Gibbons, when you are going for your engage, you have to make sure you are looking for that backline. They dove the cart, which just kind of had Churd on it, and Churd was just able to survive. And now Geometric is also going into this next fight with 5 ults. Again, looking very good for them.
I mean, yeah, 80 meters. We're at 7.5 minutes left on the clock, so there's still plenty of time if Galactic Gibbons is able to find their footing to sort of have them make a comeback here. Welcome to the beauty of push. Pulse Bomb is able to find 1, Ascend goes down, and now you've got Lucio heals to rely on. Denji uses the primal to sort of find Glimpse, but there's still so much more utility and pressure left alive for the side of Geometric. The cart is getting stalled out by excuse me, I apologize, Wonder. There we go. 7 minutes on the clock. Denji's able to pick off Emily, and Galactic Gibbons sort of finding any pressure?
Yeah, and I think it's really what happens there is that everybody turns around and looks at the bot while that's happening, and that allows Denji to just play super aggressive and get the pick off on the on. And now Galactic Gibbons are going into this next fight with 3 ultimates. They're going to be able to build a Reaper roll. I expect they're going to try and play very fast with this Coalescence, and if you do get put into a Nano Monkey situation, I could see a beat happening. But a huge pulse early by Glimpse.
Holy bananas. The Glimpse goes down, and this could give Galactic Gibbons exactly what they need with the aggressive Coalescence, using the fade to get in people's faces. It's only going to be Churd alive, and he will get taken down, chased violently like a darn predator to prey. Ascend on the Moira takes that one more, and Galactic Gibbons finally gaining some space.
Yeah, and again, it was aggressive Coalescence, and just another really big pulse bomb by Sky. We've been saying this all series, and it just happens every single time. But in this next fight, I could see Geometric. They're going to try and play probably almost defensive with this Nano. I'd expect Churd's going to try and go and play aggressive, try to set some tempo, and then they're going to use the Nano to keep him alive. I could also see the duplication, right, from Squizzy come out, as we do see it here. And a huge pulse bomb.
You're gonna be able to take off Koi, and you know what that's gonna do? That's gonna allow Geometric to play aggressive with little fear, right? That Reaper swap was what Gibbons was sort of relying on in order to find the counter to the Winston, but regardless of that, they still have enough dive pressure to take out the Squishies, and it actually will be Galactic Gibbons pushing forward once again, despite having lost the Reaper in the open.
Yeah, and it really comes down to Galactic Gibbons just went in. They played aggressive, and they got the Ana break super early out in the fight. And because Galactic Gibbons, they're running the Moira Lucio, they have the ability to sustain, because Moira can fade away from a fight. She can use her orb to keep herself alive. And just having the Lucio too to speed you in and out, it just helps out so much. And Geometric just wasn't able to clean up. They used 3 ults and they couldn't win the fight. It's so tough for them. And Galactic Gibbons is going to have 3. I'm looking at the Sky Pulse Bomb. We know it's going to happen. We'll see it here.
They've got to figure out how to deal with these DPS. The Pulse Bomb is there. It go close, but it just misses. Koi once again is able to take out Churd, and that Reaper is absolutely dangerous. It just counters this entire composition, no matter which way you squeeze it. He's got the plus, and he might use it just to get a little bit of a clip. Doesn't. Smart play, but they will be taking the lead here, Galactic Gibbons.
Yeah, and I may have cast a curse Sky. I must apologize. They did not get the kill with the Pulse, but it doesn't matter because Koi got 3. And also, Koi wasn't even the one on Reaper earlier on in the series. It was Sky, so I guess having 2 good Reaper players does help out a lot for them. And you're going into this next fight. Also, down one ult, but actually Ascend gets the Coalescence right here. So this should be a very interesting fight. I'm expecting a fast Coalescence, maybe the Reaper ult in the back line.
There's the Blossom again. It's going to pick up 1. Make that with the damage 3 on top of that. Gets cleaned up by the rest of the team. Ascend though, aggressive Moira in the backline, keeping Galactic Gibbons alive. Able to find 2, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And there it goes. Glimpse and Hanya able to clean it up. And once again, Geometric finally turning this one back. 3.5 minutes on the clock, but they need to catch up.
Yeah, and I mean the big thing that happens is they swap to Moira Lucio. They are done with having to get dove and just get destroyed time and time again. So they swap to the Moira Lucio. They're opting to also play fast along with their own Reaper and their own Sojourn. They can play fast also now. And because you have Sojourn, you're going to get a lot of value from Poke and a huge pickoff early in the PV1.
Yeah, the Tracer versus the Sojourn, the only difference in this composition. And currently, Churd trying to get anything he can with the pulse or the Primal Rage will actually be able to find Koi, who's not going to be able to pick off enough damage to sustain himself. And they will continue sort of contesting, fighting it out. Once again, the Pulse Bomb comes through, not able to find anything inside of the sky, but Hanya able to take out PV Wonder and will get the progress needed to hopefully take lead.
Yeah, and there it seems like kind of 2 different fights were happening. You had the one-on-one on Cart with Hanya and Sky, and then you had the actual fight going on, and huge Primal Rage by Denji. Gets 2 early on.
He understands the gravity of the situation. I mean, it's going to be hard to take the lead back now with only 2.5 minutes left if somebody's able to get past him at this point. But there's the Coalescence keeping everybody alive. Emily does it beautifully. That will give Geometric the lead despite the brave plays from the side of Denji and the Sound Barrier as well. From the side of Galactic Gibbons, Hanya's able to clean up 2, and that's going to give them enough time to get around this corner.
Yeah, and being down Ascend in that fight is just brutal because Denji does get 2, but because Geometric has their Moira in this fight, they're able to win. And now you're going in with essentially no ults on both sides. Koi will get his ult. Splizzy is actually going to use their Sojo ult right now.
It is Ascend with the Coalescence, going to be finding 2 with the damage piled up with Koi and Denji. So much damage there. Yeah, there we go. Galactic Gibbons finally able to find their foothold once again. And remember, they're the ones who sort of started out on the offensive, right? Or do I have that backwards?
Yeah, no, Galactic Gibbons was the one that opted for the Moira Lucio first, and Geometric kind of swapped to it just to kind of stay alive as a last-inch effort at the end of the map, essentially, and it's helped them out a lot. So they're gonna keep it, right?
With 1 minute and 15 seconds, we're getting down to the last 2 fights here, my friend, and it is not looking great for the side of Galactic.
Koi is going to try and use their ult soon. This is a very aggressive TP, and they get 1 with it. Don't think they're going to get another. But that's all they needed.
With 2 picks, absolutely. I'm going to say, when you're down 2 in a 5v5 game, it's kind of game over at that point, unless something massive happens. Now they have a pure chance. 1 team fight and 2, maybe make that 3 ultimates online to sort of secure victory here.
Yeah, and on the side of Geometric, the main ult I'm looking at is also Churd's Primal, because Churd is a very, very good Winston player. I'm expecting a lot from them, right? And also this Reaper ult could be very huge.
Ooh.
As it is.
It's able to pick off PV Wonder. The Sound Barrier not going to be there for the side of Galactic Gibbons in this last fight. They needed that for the sustain. And there it goes. Hanya's able to pick off Koi, and Ascend goes down as well. Now 10 seconds remaining, and Geometric, as long as they're able to push this as far away as they can, they're going to have a very, very nice chance to solidify this one.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just going to stop it right there because I guess they don't think Galactic Gibbons can get a touch, but Phoebe Wonder should be able to get this along with Sky. Geometric is going to look for an aggressive pull once Denji gets into this fight here, as we see here, but a good beat by Phoebe Wonder.
Yeah, it's going to be allowing Galactic Gibbons to sort of stay alive, but he is going to get brought down by the enemy Sojourn, and Hanya is able to pick off Koi. That's 2 down now for the side of Galactic Gibbons. They're going to be struggling to sort of piece one out together. Ascend has the Coalescence in turn. Splizzy does go down. It's a trade left, right, front, center. But the Moira on the side of Galactic Gibbons was able to press their second. Churd is able to take them down after the Coalescence goes down. And this is so close. Overtime is taking down Hanya, Glimpse. Everybody's able to goes down, and that's going to be it. Geometric going to be taking the 4th map, tying the series up 2-2. Map picks, man. Map picks.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't that bad for Galactic Gibbons because they do, obviously, they get their map choice, right? If Lee Tower is in the map pool, I'm expecting them to choose that because that is what they ran in their first game. So well, I guess it should be an apple then, right? But another thing I'm excited for, going to be seeing that far from Galactic Gibbons, right? It's going to be something they're going to rely on, I believe. And honestly, that was just a good map overall, though, right? We saw Geometric kind of match the style of Moira Lucio, which I didn't know they could do. I mean, they did it when they needed to, but I hadn't seen that from them, and they played it very, very well. Especially, you know, they were on the back foot initially, so essentially they had to win like, you know, 5 fights in a row to get this advantage that they did in the end, and they just show that they are a very, very good team and very adaptable too.
I mean, you don't really ever expect a Moira Lucio composition in Overwatch. I mean, it does happen. You can bring it out. It acts as a sort of aggressive support idea. It's like a 5-man dive idea by just instead of going for the utility of the Ana with the anti-nade, you go with the Moira Lucio, who have the self-sustain and escapability in order to sort of keep themselves alive throughout the rest of that fight, right? And they executed it to beauty. I mean, they had an idea, it wasn't working, and they sort of pulled it back. They were able to make it work against their enemy, and now we're at map 5. Like you said, it is Galactic Gibbons map pick, so they are going to be the ones that have the advantage in the grand finals here.
Yeah, and they will be choosing Lijiang Tower, as we've been told. And again, I am expecting the pharmacy 100%. They will run it, not on Control Center, but on Control Center, I expect the May Reaper, Bap Lucio, and then Ramatra. It's a style that worked for them in their first game, right? I watched through that. Really what helped them out a lot was by sending their Reaper to play very, very aggressive and then getting the pincer, right? And I think that kind of style has helped them out so much just as a team, because that is where they see a lot of their success, right? Again, as I said, I'm expecting the pharmacy, and pharmacy kind of does something similar, right? You're kind of trying to split up their focus so much that they just kind of don't know what to focus, and it allows your playmakers to make plays because they're not getting all the focus on them. Also, I did say they're probably going to be running Pharah, but Geometric might also be expecting it, so they're not going to try and run comps that are going to get countered by Pharah. They might run their Sombra Tracer a lot, right? I could see that, or their Echo Tracer. We'll also have to see which DPS players in, because that's going to kind of determine what comp they kind of go towards, right? We've seen Monarch play a lot of Sombra this series, so expecting them, if they are in, they will be playing. Yeah, and as we know, yeah, so Monarch is in, meaning we probably will see a lot of Sombra on Garden. I'm expecting that. If they might maybe play Echo, I don't know what Monarch plays. I only have seen their Sombra, and I know their Sombra is very good, and when they run Sombra, they do a lot of good things. But the inside point, it's going to be just a very simple brawl matchup. It's going to be, you know, something that everybody has seen probably. But, you know, we kind of have to see what goes on here, because there's a lot that can happen, especially because they have played this map against each other before, so they kind of know what to see. So we will, you know, we just have to see what's going to happen here.
And, you know, I think the most likely option might be the sort of Tracer Sombra. We've seen it work out very well, and it does sort of counteract excuse me, that pharmacy composition that we've talked about so much, right? Because you can it's one of the few comps that can actually solidify the Mercy, right, with that Sombra hack, and if you're able to take care of her, the Pharah becomes infinitely less effective. I mean, still dangerous if you can land a few shots, but much easier to kill, much easier to take care of. And looks like we're gonna be seeing D.Va, maybe?
Yeah, and honestly, the D.Va is the adaptation that they made. Initially, they ran a SimTP Brawl, and now they're going to opt for the Sombra Tracer, right? You bring in Monarch, you're going to play some Sombra. Churd's going to play the D.Va, just kind of DM the Defense Matrix Denji, and Galactic Gibbons, they're just going to run their Pharmacy. They're going to just try and play Poke. The Moira Lucio is going to be tough to run, though, into this Pharah, because it's going to be so hard to rotate against Pharmacy, as we have seen time and time again in other games.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited to see how the D.Va sort of clash here, especially against the Pharmacy company. D.Va a fly swatter of sorts. Given. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that you do expect Geometric to just play so much more aggressive here. Try to force Denji out as much as you can, and maybe get on Ascend if you could at some point in the fight. But as we see here, it looks like Geometric is going to win this fight just by walking at them, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, Galactic Gibbons, they tried to go for a dive. It wasn't very successful. Their diva got caught out, and that's all she wrote, right? The Geometric, you know, didn't get caught out quite as hard while trying to play. They played more defensive, they played more patient, and they ended up finding a win. 10% counting out for them as there's still a fight happening on point. Pulse popping up, and looks like Geometric might actually end up taking the L here with, I mean, granted, 25% captured.
Yeah, and you know, Geometric, they prioritized getting the point, but Galactic Gibbons was able to get their DPS line back, and they were just able to pop off. That's what's you're gonna see a lot when any kind of pharmacy comp is just gonna be, can my DPS pop off? Can we set them up to make plays? And that's just what happened, right? Now you have Sky with a pulse bomb, could be huge if you can get a stick on the Lucio. Oh, but Hanya wins the 1v1.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a massive pick there. It's not Galactic Gibbons. They're down in DPS, but honestly, the most dangerous one of the bunch is Koi. With that nano, is going to get hacked, is going to try to get isolated, but they've still got the Mercy Pocket, right? That's the one bad thing about using Sombra to sort of counteract this comp. You have to get that Mercy out. It can't do the far. They're going to be able to do it eventually, and the Pulse Bomb's going to stick. Going to be deleting the Diva, but the Bob comes through. Denji, they're going to pick up Anya and trade. Continuing back and forth. These fights have been so long on this map.
Yeah, and really just in general, they've had so many scrappy fights that are just so hard to really clean up.
Galactic Gibbons is able to pick up a point, and both teams at 40% now, but Gibbons will be the ones sort of setting their foot down now, and they will take the lead.
Yeah, and again, just another one of those really scrappy fights, but you have Pharah, right? Pharah gets so much value in these longer fights. Geometric, you almost have to clean up so fast, because as these fights get longer, you're getting more value, because Ascend can hit a nade, Koi can just do damage, Sky can get value too, and Ascend looks like Ascend's gonna get picked off right here, unless, no, they
does get peel from a support, and they're not able to survive. Actually, Hanya does get traded out though, but without that Ana, you're looking at, you know, way less healing output. It doesn't really matter though. Whenever you have Sky being a menace in the backline, so much of the squishies are down low already, and he's able to pick it off with the Tracer. Now Koi able to pick off Churd though. Could give Gibbons a solid way to hold his 90% now. Geometric gonna have to take this scrappy fight, gonna have to sort of fight dirty. They're not gonna be coming in as a full team. They're not gonna really have a chance to touch as a full team at the very least. Forcing their way through a choke with the Koi, staring down with the Pharah, is able to find two. Now the Diva under so much pressure, the sound barrier there just to stall it out. And the Sombra not able to get the hack either. Galactic Gibbons, they've had full control of this fight. Sky's got the pulse bomb as well now, and Hanya goes down before they're able to use theirs. Pulse bomb not able to get anything, but Sky's able to pick off Glimpse. Koi's able to pick off Monarch. Overtime is ticking down, and that is going to be it. Gibbons take the first map of Lijiang.
Yeah, and again, these scrappy fights are going to go in their favor just because they've done good in scrappy fights all series, but especially with Pharmacy, you get so much value during these long fights. Another thing that helped them is that there really was no pressure for Koi on the Pharah, right? They didn't have an Echo, they didn't have a hit scan to really deal with Koi, so Koi was just able to do whatever they wanted during these mid-fights, and that just really helps them out, right? You're pocketing them, you want them to carry, they will carry in these situations. Geometric, one thing I would want to see them to do here would be to try and just, you know, counter that Pharah somehow, right? If you can make it through this map, you're going to go into a brawl map, which could be good for you, especially knowing what you're going to see. But it looks like they're going to opt for this comp that they've been running essentially all series or all game, right? With the Ana Brig, and yeah.
No, you're good. Sorry, apologies for interrupting, but despite that, I would like to see something different from the Tracer, right? The Monarch on the Sombra is really good earlier about isolating and solidifying the pick onto the Mercy, which makes Pharah quite a bit less dangerous. If you're able to take care of the pocket, then Pharah becomes basically a flying target, and way less of a death machine. They are continuing to try to take care of the Pharah, but it's just the wrong half of the equation. They can't die. Despite that, Denji does go down, and now Geometric is able to actually get the point flip very early, so even if they did lose this fight, they'd be in a considerable lead.
Yeah, it looks like they might be able to win this fight though, because Koi gets picked off, and they can't get the res because of how far in it was. And you're also seeing a Hanya pulse bomb in 3, 2, 1, and it gets one. There you go.
I mean, what else are you gonna do? Jump off the bridge? There wasn't really a whole lot of great places for them to run. And yeah, wow, Geometric, they're able to capture that point fast, and already because of that, at 30% and counting.
Yeah, and you know, Geometric they don't really have a lot of ults coming up in this fight. Galactic Gibbons is going to get the pulse bomb first, as well as the nano. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Geometric does. Personally, I think you just try and play very fast with your nade, right? And hopefully, may be able to build this Sombra EMP early, but depends how they're going to take tempo here. As Koi does go to the Reaper, as I just noticed.
Ascend has the nano. It'll be interesting to see. I assume Koi is going to be getting that one. Maybe the enemy team, but Ascend might go down before he's able to use it. He does give it off to Koi, who's able to take off Churd. The pulse bomb comes through as well. Ultimates galore given out by Galactic Gibbons. He said they had that advantage there. Monarch has the EMP, but it's not going to be used this fight. Galactic Gibbons are going to be able to get the point flip, but 70% now for Geometric.
Yeah, 70%, and you have your EMP, and you're going to build Nano, and you'll probably build Primal and Pulse Bomb, right? This isn't that bad for Geometric. You're going to get a good ult cycle going, and Galactic Gibbons really only has one ult to try and counter it, and it's your mech, right? So it's going to be very interesting to see. I think Monarch is just going to try and play very fast with this EMP, and then you'll be able to build Nano, or they can just Nano Monkey in. We'll see what they're going to do here, though.
Massive EMP is able to find 3, and immediately Church able to find Koi with that EMP follow through as well. Gonna be leading them to sort of victory. Church falls off the map though, doesn't use Primal to try to save himself, understandable. And that might be a fight flip though with that fall off there. Emily's able to pick off Ascend, so it's Ana v Ana, and Emily's able to take the dub there. The rally comes through from the side of Geometric to keep the rest of the back line alive. Nice anti-nade as well from the side of Emily. Emily doing a whole lot this fight to keep them in this fight, to keep them alive and to keep the enemy scared. Amir comes through from the side of Galactic, and both teams putting in a lot of resources to try to take hold, to try to continue pushing forward. Hanya able to get a pulse bomb nicely on the Sky, and with that, Geometric sort of pincer, as you mentioned before, onto the enemy team, and we'll be getting the point flip at 71% and counting.
Yeah, so much happened in that fight, right? We saw the beat come out, very good beat, but Koi doesn't get it, and Koi has to use the Wraith to survive Hanya on the Tracer. Hanya is able to get, 2 picks in that mid-fight, very good for them. Also unlucky what happened with Churd, right? You know, it just happens sometimes. You kind of underestimate it sometimes. It happens. You have the Primal Rage though, it's going to be very big. Galactic Gibbons only has a pulse bomb here, as we're seeing the 1v1 with the Tracers going on.
Oh,
they still
the pack. Oh my goodness. That's all that matters. Church able to pick off PV Wonder on the other side of the map, though. Hanya is able to diff Sky. Ascend goes down as well. It's looking very good for the side of Geometric. The pulse bomb through as well, and it's the last fight. It's the last fight for this map as we get out of Garden. Overtime ticking down the pulse bomb, trying to clear the point. The remake not quite there. Ultimates are online though. If anybody's able to touch, this fight could easily swing 99%. Able to do it. Kanye's able to get the D-Mac on the Denji. Denji does go down. The EMP there now. Sky's able to pick off Monarch, but nobody's able to follow up on the EMP from them, and that's, oh my goodness, it's gonna be it. Gibbons not able to find anything. Geometric continue finding so much pressure, and that will be it. Gonna go to the third map of Lijiang on a 2 of 2 first to 3. This game's crazy.
Yeah, this is a very, very good game. We're going into the last round possible, and again, Geometric, they set themselves up so good for that entire map, right? You get 60% and you haven't really even used an ult, and you're going into Galactic Gibbons who had only one ult, so it was just such a good setup for Geometric. And also we got to see the Tracer duel, which we've been talking about both of these Tracer players all night, and it was just so exciting to see that duel happen, right? 2 of the better players probably within this entire tournament almost, and Discord tier, and they had a good duel. It was very fun to watch.
Here's the most interesting part I find about this particular map and this particular setup. We're seeing looks that neither team has really shown off all that much, right? Because this map doesn't really favor a sort of dive. You play dive into this map, any sort of rush or brawl comp is just going to absolutely annihilate you. Monarch on the sim, kind of a dirty pick, but I respect it for the dubs. Gonna pick off Sky, as Koi's able to pick off Glimpse as well. That sim does so much damage, you can't keep her alive, but gonna get forced back here by the Orisa, who you can't walk past, and Churd is gonna find 2, gonna be allowing Geometric to be the first one to capture once again.
Yeah, and as I predicted earlier that they were going to run this May Reaper because this is exactly what they played before. They swapped to the Orisa now, but they were around the Ram, right? Geometric, I kind of hinted at they would try and think of a new comp to play, and this is exactly what they did, right? They're going to the Sim Reaper and the Orisa. The Orisa's going to try and hold off the enemy tank as much as you can while you deal with Sky in your backline. And, you know, sometimes it's easier said than done, but we're going into this next fight here, and Geometric already has 3 ults.
Yeah, they have absolute control over this fight. Use all 3 of them, though, feeling a little confident, I guess. The Coalescence, yeah, literally everything went through, and they are able to steamroll that fight. But now Galactic Gibbons might soon be in a position where they can take this one back.
Yeah, I think they just get a little too hasty there, Geometric, because you stack all 3 of your ults at the same time. I really think you could have won it with just 1 or 2 of those, right? But you understand that Galactic Gibbons really is also not going to be at a huge ult advantage, although having the mail is very, very big. And the beat, too, is going to be very important in this fight, but
there's the Blossom and gets canceled out by a beautiful Samurai from the side of PB Wonder. The rest of the team is down low and nobody caught out in the May ult. Now both ultimates forced outside from Galactic Gibbons with no follow-through value. Geometric now looking pretty good in around this corner, and he's forcing Gibbons to sort of either rotate or push through them. 70% in counting here, and Geometric, they look so strong.
Yeah, and really the mail, like, who are you going to get in the mail, actually? Reaper can get out, and Denji gets picked out early, if we're talking about Reaper. Hanya gets picked, but everybody can get out of that mail, and it was just so easy for them to escape it and basically mitigate its value. And now we're looking into this next fight with Geometric has got both support ults up, and Galactic Gibbons has maybe they're gonna get the Sojourn ult up, and they're gonna have the Orisa, but it's looking very good for Geometric still because you're going to go in with an ult advantage, and somebody is on point here. I think it's the Tracer.
They've already able to get the point touch. Denji's able to pull out the spinning javelin thingy from the side of Orisa. Ultimate straight left, right, front, and center. Everybody presses good at the same time. Turd's able to take out Denji, but Denji's able to take out Emily. It's 4v4 on the point right now. Anything counts. Any pick, any damage, any sort of pressure you can put out. It still trades. Galactic Gibbons, they have to win this fight if they want to win this series. Overtime is here. It's absolutely massive. There's just nothing Hanya can do. They're trying so hard. Glimpse is able to take off PB Wonder, but it's just not enough. Pulse bomb there now for the side of Koi as the Fade is now forced out from the Moira. He's gonna use it here in a minute. And Gibbons, you know, they had such strong point pressure, but they're not able to find anybody. Now the Sim Wall. Geometric's able to play safe. They're able to play split. This Orisa is going to try to live out for so long, and their Lucio's back to sort of keep them alive, to sort of make them harder to hit. Overtime, still holding on strong, but it's just not enough, and Geometric will take the match and the series 3-2, 100-0 on the last map.
Wow, and that last map right there was so, I mean, obviously it's so important, but it's just very, very good play, right, from both sides in general. But, you know, we saw a lot of good ult rotations, and going into that last fight, you know, you have both your support ults, it's going to be very, very, possible to win that fight, right? Also, good plays by Hanya, and there's just so much that has gone on this series that there's just, I don't know what to talk about, right? Like, such good DPS play, good coordination, right? Good comps. We saw a lot of high level play, and I'm just very impressed. You know, I'm very happy that I got to cast this game. This is very, very, very good. And at the end of that last round, you're kind of going in. It's just kind of a stagger fight at the end. You know, by the time the Sim Wall comes up, it's only your Moira and your Orisa on the point, and you just can't win that, right? But yeah, and again, I kind of predicted Geometric would make kind of this an adaptation, right? Because they played the Galactic Gibbons once, and this is the map that they lost actually. In that match, they did win 2-1 in general. They won Hollywood, and I don't remember the third map, but that was the map they lost, and they made the right adjustments, right? On this last point control center, the Symmetro is very good to kind of take these longer fights and get more value from Sim than you would with a different character in longer fights. But just also kind of shut down the Sky flanks. It was just very, very good play by them. I mean, very strong showing.
Absolutely. I mean, beautiful showing. I mean, we alluded to even We alluded even to the fact that Gibbons, with the map pick, had a massive advantage, right? And that was sort of what the entire series had sort of broken down to, was whose map did he pick, how well did they know their comps? And Geometric came out on a map that neither team was really comfortable with, right? Lijiang Control Center for our last map was a map that neither team really, like, they didn't really play into their styles. Not really sort of that divey composition that you can really run and control tower, not that Pharah poke, not that Sigma poke, right? It has to be a sort of brawl, and they came out and they dominated it at the very end against Galactic Gibbons. So congratulations to them. They have officially won and have been titled champions of the Diamond Division for Overwatch Tranquility's preseason, and absolutely bravo.
Yeah, very good game.
All right. I believe we heard something about an interview, or we just closing it out. All right. Apologies, I misheard something. But all right. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Don't you can go away now. But it's great time. Thank you very much, my friend, for sticking around with me and sort of introducing me to Overwatch Tranquility. You were fantastic. It was an honor to cast with you. I can't wait to be back for the regular season, and it's gonna be lit.
Yeah, very good game. Very good. Just very good all around. So excited for this season.
That's when you remember who you are. Over till tomorrow when we're